What is good, YouTube? So I saw a comment the other day on Milo's video regarding some leaks around the classic mode that we've been hearing about. The comment I read was something to the tune of this: "Hey guys, why haven't we as a community ever tried to make our own classic mode? Obviously it wouldn't be the same as having one programmed into the game, but I believe we could still make it work. Here's the set of rules that I propose. No armor plates. This would make the game more challenging, but that's what the classic mode is all about, right? No resources or score streaks. Avoid using anything that can be bought with resources. No score streaks, no weapon rarity upgrades, etc. Minimal interface. Turn off as much of the interface as possible. Keep it like it was in BO3. No radars, no XP numbers clutting the screen, no compasses. Use an old school loadout. Don't use a loadout system, just start with the 1911 or another basic pistol. Field upgrades are still fair game though, they're pretty cool. Rules for the mystery box. If score streaks pop up in the mystery box, just leave them behind, like you would with a teddy bear. An exception could be the injector that turns into a mangler. Using that still sounds badass. The result? A hardcore, classic zombies mode without unnecessary mechanics. The only things that would remain are the annoying drops from zombies and the rare weapon system, but we could work around that. Now, some of you might be thinking, I paid $80 for this game, why would I limit myself? But as a community, we've often set our own challenges to keep games interesting. For example, many gamers avoid fast travel in open world games like Skyrim, The Witcher, Fallout, and RDR to preserve immersion. I personally never use rocket launchers on my first playthrough of Resident Evil games because they make the boss fights too easy. And think about how many Elden Ring players skip using spirit ashes for a tougher challenge, even though the game is designed around them. Say no to Warzone mechanics in zombies mode. Now, my first take on this comment was, hey, that actually sounds like a great idea. However, after putting some more thought into it, I believe this would be a bit more difficult to pull off. I think this could work well for someone who just wants an OG experience in the new games. However, there's a couple things I believe that could cause some issues when it comes to things like regular gameplay, as well as records and challenges. The first thing I'd like to talk about is something Milo brought up in his video. As gamers, we usually look for the fastest path to completion, meaning if there's a shortcut to take, we're taking it, baby. Regardless of what game you're playing, it's part of the developer's responsibility to either make sure that those shortcuts simply don't exist, or that they're locked behind some sort of progression system. A classic mode would obviously negate these effects, meaning if we were to receive a classic mode with Black Ops 6, then we wouldn't have to worry about these shortcuts as we would just play that. However, we're not sure if we're actually getting that or not. Personally, I'm not convinced. But without this classic mode, we're going to be forced to either play the game normally or create our own set of rules to play within. Personally, as a player, I can tell you 1000% without having even attempted it yet that if or when I do play within my own set of rules, it's going to be difficult, at least to begin with. As someone who's been playing zombies for years and years and taking advantage of all the systems and mechanics that are offered to me, having to constantly think about, am I able to go get that drop? Or I gotta be careful not to pick up that armor, would number one be difficult and would also just hinder the gameplay experience. I do think it would get easier and easier over time to play this way, but until you fully get used to all the rules and mechanics that you're not allowed to use, I would think that the game would just take up too much of my brain. I play zombies because it's fun and engaging, and personally I think that playing like this would take away from the immersion that the game engulfs us in. I'd assume it'd be easier for some than others, but I still see this as a hurdle that we would have to eventually get over. The second thing I'd like to speak on regarding this topic is things like challenges and world records. While I believe it's fully possible for us to find and solidify a way to verify that the rules are being followed, I still think it would be quite difficult, especially at first, to verify that these challenges or records are legit and that the player didn't accidentally, or on purpose, use any of the forbidden mechanics. Again, it isn't something I see as impossible, but it's another hurdle I see us having to get past. We've proven as a community time and time again that we are able to keep the zombies mode alive even after a game's lifecycle. Shit, Black Ops 3 is getting close to 10 years old and we're still playing that. My point is that we are resilient and determined. If a classic mode is something that we really want but don't receive inside the game, then I'd honestly be a bit surprised by this point if the community didn't outline their own rules and start to play within them. We know by now that we're able to pretty much run the community by ourselves without the need of game devs or anyone to point us in a specific direction. My hope is that everything I've spoken about today just becomes completely irrelevant due to us receiving a classic mode within Black Ops 6. But again, I'm just not yet convinced that that'll be the case. Regardless of whether it is or not though, I know for a fact that the community will still prevail and we'll find a way to enjoy the game on our own terms if that's what we need to do. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for some more zombies and Black Ops 6 content, and I will see you in the next one.